So how many of you have desire to travel abroad, or maybe actually have traveled abroad? Well, there's this cool thing about traveling abroad, is that we're interacting with people that we don't regularly interact with on, obviously, a regular basis. So, here in America, we have this fancy little idea of, oh, what about in England? There's the Buckingham Palace. Or in Rome, there's the Sistine Chapel. Or maybe we've even learned about the Great Wall of China in history. But we've never actually seen these, maybe the Taj Mahal. Yes, learning about it is really awesome, and there's great pictures that have been taken by great photographers that show the beauty of all these places. But until you're there, you can never actually know the experiences that are around you. You don't know the smell. You don't know the feel. You don't get to touch it and really be in it. And most importantly, you don't even understand necessarily what it really meant for the people creating these things, to their culture, reflecting their culture, and also maybe their personal impact. So when I was 14 years old, I actually got the opportunity to travel to Uganda, Africa, and while I was there for a month with a group of people from a church, but I also went with my family, and we stayed for a month, and this was not a regular mission trip. My dad's goal with this mission trip was to get to know the people. And so I have this idea that traveling abroad is a beneficial experience that helps one get to understand other cultures with regular people in it. Yes, reality is we all are people, but we see the world differently due to how we have interacted with it, whether religion has split us or our ethnic or language has changed it. But traveling abroad is very important. So, in the Bible, in Genesis 11:1 through 9, it talks about the Tower of Babel. And this is a place where it's recorded where actually people used to speak all the same language. And because they were trying to build a tower to reach heaven, God destroyed the tower and each one was given a different language. So the most common thing that we're like, oh, well, we can't travel abroad because they have a different language than us. Well, although that may be an issue, they're still people, and they still do the same things as us. They eat breakfast, they brush their teeth, they go to school, most of them, if they're lucky enough. So, some of you are very interested in this idea of traveling abroad, but there's a lot of things that might stand in the way. One of these things can be money. Obviously, it is very expensive to travel abroad. There's all sorts of different things you could do, whether it's traveling abroad just as tourists or as a medical missionary, but it's very expensive, and reality is taking an airplane over there also creates all sorts of ecological footprints that we didn't necessarily have to make there. But my goal today is to convince you that although there's these aspects of money and things that might seem to pull us away, traveling abroad can be one of the best experiences in your life. So there's a study done, a philosophy created by this guy named Lerner's in 2002, and he says that human perspectives are a result of the personal environment interaction in the course of life. And I think that's very true for us. Yes, we've interacted with each other, we've understood this small school environment, maybe we've gone out and gone to a college football game and we see, oh wow, the world's a little bigger than this little First Baptist bubble. But then you go to somewhere like Uganda or France or something, and you see, whoa, there's other people that are seeing the world differently, but are still doing the same things as us. So there was 54 participants in this evaluation, and they went on a 3-week guided study in Honduras. And the results show that the participants had an increase in confidence, open-mindedness, and preparedness about life. And people who studied abroad, these people were participating in abroad trips, like I said, in Honduras, but they were also asked to participate in an abroad trip centered in here, where you have ethnic cultures here, so you go to a Spanish-speaking country, and kind of compare the difference of going abroad and interacting with people that may have been from abroad. And they still show that the results were they gained a larger perspective and life skills by traveling abroad. Another fear of traveling abroad is sickness. And yes, this is true, because I have actually experienced getting sick. But doctors are very smart, and they've studied lots and lots of different diseases and have given us a outline of how to protect ourselves. So there was a study done by scientists Horvath, Murray, and Dooley that explains that 98% of travelers did get sick when they went. But that was not because they didn't take their medicine or whatever. It was because they actually didn't listen to the doctors and weren't very consistent with, oh, I need to take my malaria pills tonight. Like, it's not a big deal. When in reality, it is a big deal, and the doctors know what they're talking about. So, if you do follow the doctor's instructions, you have no worry about getting sick. Although there may be a few mishaps, generally the doctors have a good idea. The next thing that might be a serious issue is fear. Well, fear is a real thing, and there are many precautions that you must take when you do travel abroad. Avoiding strangers. We don't talk to strangers here anyway, so you shouldn't do that. Avoid risky circumstances, and also study kind of the government interactions of the places that you may be going to. But my overall philosophy on this is, well, what if that danger happens? Oh my gosh, it could be horrible. But what if it doesn't? And what if you missed out on the experience of a lifetime by not stepping out and going and traveling to some exotic place? So, I'm going to challenge the face of studying abroad. You can impact your environment when you study abroad. There was an article written by nursing students who were able to go and study abroad, and they were able to not only impact their environment while they were there by offering resources, but they were also able to see a perspective of the nurses and things there, and learn and benefit from the fact that they do things differently, and maybe we can take some things from them. Also, when you study abroad, you can share your gifts and talents. When I was in Uganda, I was actually able to paint murals in the orphanages, and for me, I thought art class was something that was like, that's not a big deal, like, I don't think I'm going to use this ever again, and I was able to bring joy to little children that I never expected. And the craziest thing about it was, I painted lions and giraffes, and they'd never seen them. Those were animals that were from their country, and they had never gotten the experience to actually see a lion or a giraffe. So, when you go to foreign countries, it's not just about you giving them things, oh, maybe Africa doesn't have as much as us, but they give us things as well. While I was there, I was really open to the gaining information from them, so I got the opportunity to learn how to cook some of their traditional foods. And they are so open to sharing with us just as much as we want to share with them. So traveling abroad can be expensive, it can be dangerous, and it can be a scary thing. But it can also be beneficial, life-changing, and there's ways to get around it being expensive, such as scholarships. There's a scholarship given by Gilman International Scholarship Program, and they give about 1,200 study abroad scholarships to Pell Grant recipients. And there's all sorts of scholarships that you can research. And I would give you more, but I don't know where you want to go. But I do want you to go. So there's also programs such as YWAM, or I went this past summer with a program called Evangelism Explosion, and all of these people are eager to get you out and to get a broad perspective. But I just want to really inspire you guys to go out, because seeing people in a different way is inspiring. And the fact that we are all people, but we interpret things differently, is such a wonderful thing, particularly for me, because I understand that we have a Creator who has made us all the same, but has given us different ways of interpreting life. So I have here a few little things from places that I've studied, traveled, and these two things are from Uganda, and they were art things that were created by several of the villagers. You can pass this down. And I have this prayer shawl from Jerusalem, which my dad brought back when he went to Israel. And I also have these funny little I Heart Australia koalas. And I have enough for everyone, and I know it's dorky, but I want you to keep these around to remind yourself that traveling abroad is a possibility for all of you. And I think that it's very beneficial and life-changing. And as you can see, although these say I Heart Australia, they were made in China. So there's still a cultural aspect, even in other cultures. Thank you.